story has tugged at the heartstrings of many of you and all of us here in the newsroom, on Facebook in particular. 5 fifth graders noticed something that unfortunately happens in elementary schools all across the country every day. A classmate of theirs was being bullied, but instead of turning a blind eye, or worse yet, joining in, the boys befriended James Wilmert, and what happened next changed everything. James, Jack, Jake, Tyler, Landon, Gus, and their 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Hauker, all here right now joining us via Skype. Thank you guys so much for taking a moment during summer when I know you want to be out playing and hanging out instead of necessarily Skyping in, but hopefully this is fun for you guys. I wanted to focus in first on James. James, where are you? Are you there? Right in the middle? There he is, the man of the hour. James, help me understand what exactly was going on at school before the boys stuck up for you. What was happening to you?
Some kids were following me, and that's pretty much it.
Can you help me understand what sorts of things were happening to you? Was it name calling? Were there
name calling and telling me to kiss other students?
And boys, the rest of you out there, I want you to weigh in. Is that pretty much what you guys were seeing? What did you observe? What did you witness when you decided, you know, it's time that we do something?
He explained them all, but some kids were also making them do stuff that they didn't want to do. They wanted to do it, but they didn't want to get in trouble, so they used James to do it.
So they were feeling, James, you were feeling a lot of pressure from these bullies to do things. Were they threatening you?
Yes.
Oh, that's awful, guys. Okay, so let's get to the happy part of the story, boys. You decided that you had seen enough and that you were going to get involved. So what did you do?
Well, our friend Jake decided that James needed something, like a video game system, because he loves sports, so we wanted him to play. So Jake came up with an idea right there to get him a PlayStation 2, and we did.
And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it a PlayStation 3?
Yeah, we decided to get James something a little newer, so we all got him a PlayStation 3.
Well, that's nice, but you guys also did something else when it came to the day-to-day experience for James at school, right? You guys decided that you would take him in and make him part of your crew, right?
Yeah, we played sports with him every day. We let him pick the sports, all that kind of stuff. Sit by him at lunch.
So, Mrs. Hauck, I want to come to you really quickly. Obviously, I'm sure this was very touching for you to witness and a very proud moment for you. But as an educator, what is it that you had been teaching these boys about bullying?
Well, our school started doing some anti-bullying education, so we've just talked about what is bullying, what can you do to stand up for yourself and for other people, how do you remove yourself from that situation, basically how to deal with some conflict management.
Well, that's fantastic. Guys, I want to say thank you so much to each of you. It was so inspiring. I wish I could go back to 5th grade and made some of the decisions that you guys did on behalf of James. We're all very, very proud of you. And James, I know you described them all as the best friends anybody could ever have, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and Mrs. Hauck, you as well.
Thank you.
All right, over to you, Yasmin.
You know, Ollie, that's a really good lesson for kids to take away from that story, to defend your kids and help your friends out. Sean Dina actually tweeted at me, and he said, here's the other lesson with the school lunch story, the story that we were talking about in the last block, which a school lunch lady was fired because she gave free lunch to some kids that couldn't afford it. He said, what does this teach the kids? Kindness gets you fired? It's actually a really good point. And someone else tweeted at me, Kevin Steven, and he said, I worked in a cafeteria and we wasted lots of food. They fired this poor lady. How much food are they throwing away? A lot to think about here. Up next, the HLN Social Index. It reveals the stories you're sharing.